To show you my rig for my jug lines. It's a noodle jug that has a big plank of wood on the bottom, so it always sits upright, and the fish, no matter how big, can't take it under unless it's like a 600-pound grouper or something, right? But it starts with the bottom. One of my hooks here, I run 4/0 hooks. Okay, just tied on the bottom with 50-pound test monofilament. A lot of people like to use other lines, but just use your favorite. You use whatever you want. About 3 feet, 3 feet up from that, I have another hook on a dropper loop. And see how it just perfectly stands out to the side. Above that I have a bead, and above that I have a weight that's, 2/3 of an ounce. It's an old weight from an old cast net, so you don't really need. It doesn't have to be heavy. An ounce, 2/3 of an ounce, half an ounce, just enough to kind of get it down. And so as you can see, that'll just be kind of in the water like that. And then about 6 feet up from that goes one of my triple threat swivels. The swivel itself is a 60-pound swivel. The snap is 110 pounds. And there's an eyelet on the bottom of my jugs. And all I got to do is there. And that's all it is. These are free-floating jugs, the way I do it, free-floating. Okay. And that way they can just drift down the river. The weight is on the line, so that if there's a lot of wind, it won't get too bad off. And the way I stow them is, you just take them, wrap them around this way, and then you take it and turn it 90 degrees, wrap it around this way, hook it into the foam, continue to wrap, hook that into the foam. This will not come undone on the boat. You know how a lot of you guys have a bunch of jugs and all the lines just get tangled up and you can never go fishing. Now you could do that rig, or you can do another rig where you put the weight at the bottom. Let me get one of my rods and show you. The other way to do this is with a paternoster rig, which is essentially the same rig. I don't use this rig for jugs all that much, although they're just as effective as the rig I just showed you. If you put your weight on the bottom, right? You put your weight literally on the bottom, and this particular way I do this one is, I tie a stopper knot on the bottom, and then I put I tie a stopper knot on the monofilament, then I put a stopper knot of twine there, then a bead, then the weight. Okay, then about 18 inches up from that, or on the jugs it'll be 3 feet, but on my rod and reel I go 18 inches. I'll put a dropper knot and a hook, and then another 3 feet above that, in this case on the rod 18 inches because it's just so short, another hook above that. So, and then I will often put one of my swivels there, my triple threat swivels. It's not a 3-way swivel. You don't need a 3-way swivel for all this. It's a triple threat swivel. It's a triple barrel swivel to help reduce the line twist. And then from there you can put whatever length of line you want, or you could make it so that you don't have to have a fixed depth. If I were trying to control the depth, I would go with this, so I'll know when I'm on the bottom because the weight hits the bottom. And a lot of people call it Kentucky rig, but it's the same thing. For drifting jugs, I like the Carolina rig. For set jugs, where they're going to be on the bottom, I'd much rather use the paternoster or the Kentucky rig. And let me go in the house and show you my weights. Alright, for weights, the cheapest thing to use are these railroad spikes. If you can just find an old country road somewhere that crosses a railroad, you just park your car on the side of the road and get you a can, a little can, coffee can or something, and just go find these railroad spikes. Man, these make perfect jug fishing weights. You can tie up there, you got that little lip on there, and they will sink, and sink fast and hold the jug in place. And they It's easy, a pound, maybe even more. The next cheapest thing is to get you some Dixie cups. Get you some 3-ounce, 5-ounce Dixie cups, whatever, and get you some wire and go buy some cement from the hardware store. You can get the concrete, but I prefer the cement because it's just easier to work with. And you just sit one afternoon on a Saturday, just sit around and just pour you up a big batch of cement, and you just fill up about 20, 30, 40, 50 cups even. And you have plenty of weights, and you just take some wire, bend them, and stick them down in there. All right? And then you tie that onto the bottom of your jug, and that'll sink down to the bottom of the river too. And either way works just fine. In our area, floating jugs are preferred. Anchored jugs, people just don't use anchored jugs around here. They're just not as effective. So go try that, test them all out, and you'll eventually find the way you want to do it and what's going to be most effective for you and your fishing in your area. And I got customers waiting. I got to get back to the studio. See ya.